Cuz is going to be playing the horse. Certainly has looked very good in it so far this season.
It's that or Hakrim, or that or Udyr, right? And I agree with the choice of Hakrim. I think Hakrim is the stronger jungler of the two. I think that Udyr, if you really have control of the game start to finish, Udyr provides a lot, but that is not something that I think as T1 you expect Afreeca to do. So just pick in one of the stronger team fighters that basically does everything well, right? He farms well, his early ganks are really not that bad. Post 6, he's an absolute menace. He is tanky, he does damage, he brings AoE CC. He skills decently well. It's just the champ is just really, 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 really strong. Would not be a big fan of this. I think that picking this into the Tristana is a big risk. Then again, you know, we saw last game where Damoniki also did this, and then I was Zaya, but
there was they did it in the first game, and that was the game where Ghost really didn't do anything for a very long time.
Yeah,
you can understand the argument of Hecarim can set up for these dive bombs from the Kai'Sa very comfortably. That being said, I still just don't think that Kai'Sa is exactly the strongest pick right now in the LCK. But with the Thresh banned away, it's much harder to pick things like the Aphelios or the Jinx or things like that. But it does mean that Bang is going to have a very good time when it comes to outranging his opposite number.
Alistair
carry role.
Pickup, I would quite like.
Okay, Fake is thinking about the Victor instead. Okay, they'll lock that one in.
So that's an interesting decision, because this basically is T1 2 modes that they can play. They can play very far forward and aggressively, but the upside of the Victor pick is it's a relatively safe blind pick, right? Like, it's not that easy to really counter a Victor, unless Fly wants to, I don't know, look in like Vega or Zillion or something. I mean, we've seen crazy things, right? Or Vel'Koz, just to throw out a few end of the alphabet weird off-meta picks. This makes a lot more sense in terms of what the Tristana wants to do.
Yep. Good old 2012 bot lane, love it. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, this is this and Udyr as well, right? So this is like Afreeca Freecs drafting a composition that you can also do in like a historic reenactment of League of Legends.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas, you know, Kai'Sa, no, that's way too modern. Yeah, newfangled.
Yeah, even Victor is too new for the likes of Udyr, Tristana, and Alistair.
Oh yeah.
Who else do they need to pick? Maybe they need to pick Ashe. You know.
Yeah, Ashe.
Rammus.
I think Sion works as well, right? If you go like, not this Sion, but like Sion in general.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about like which the actual just oldest.
Garen.
Garen has to happen.
Garen.
Yeah, of course.
Lux, maybe?
No, Lux
is a little bit later, right?
She's too new. Yeah, absolutely.
She's so iconic now that you kind of you slot her in the same range, even though she's not.
It's actually really difficult for me to remember the initial roster of champions.
Was Lee there from the beginning?
Warwick.
Oh, yeah.
Good old
there you go.
Blood Razor. Oh,
top lane Warwick, you know. Listen, I was actually researching some of the newer builds, and this is on patch 11.6, so we're not going to see this, but Keen, he was playing Xin Zhao top, where he went for, if I remember correctly, the build was Ascent Reaver into Zhonya's Nash's Tooth.
Oh, damn. That's cool.
Yeah, no, he really... And
that reminds me of Papa Smithy's old builds on Xin Zhao and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's because he got an AP ratio, right?
Yeah. And Tryndamere, the old Voyboy special.
Oh, God.
Oh, good time.
And this is an interesting pick, because this is something where you are basically opting not to play the lane, and instead you're looking to make plays around the rest of the map. Now, honestly, what I've seen so far from Afreeca, I feel like in terms of what it wants to do, it is a very clear goal. You know, you can snowball from the laning phase. You can use the global pressure that comes through. The Shen pick, I would actually not mind here too much. They don't have a support yet. Although Gragas is like, when it comes to the tail, is just way too good. And it's also good into the Alistar, it's good into the Udyr. It's good into the Twisted Fate even, because it's an immobile champion, right?
Yep.
It doesn't
also,
have a dash.
You know exactly where he's going to be when he's porting in. So if you time it right, you can just cast him immediately out of where he wants to be.
And yeah, there was a couple of options
This
here.
would be sick.
We've
wanted enchanters to counter things like Alistair, things like Nautilus in the past, and this also denies so much of the CC.
Into an Udyr as well, like,
and into a Twisted Fate. Oh my god, this is actually just 11 head coming out from...
and it would be a carrier thing to do, right? Because carrier...
Okay, instead we'll just go with Maokai. Because why not? We're continuing the flex though, so I guess that's cool.
And that's a nice takeaway here, because basically what I think you're saying is we can do one or two things. I think preferably you'd put the Maokai in the top lane, because I think that Gragas support is really strong, and I think that Gragas is less reliant on farm. However, if they do something like this, they pick an aggressive topside pick, I think you do put the Gragas in the top lane, right, who will be able to neutralize a lot better than a Maokai will. Maokai's early game, I think, is a lot weaker, and Gragas is the great neutralizer when it comes to basically anything he does, because he's just super solid and there's not a lot to be done about him. Afreeca Freecs, you know, we wanted to see something that has early prio, that has a lot of map pressure. They definitely have that. If they don't win the game in the first 15 to 20 minutes, it's very, very over.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that's the case no matter what. So, no, but like, I'm not even like, this is how you need to draft as Afreeca. If Afreeca went for like a late game front to back team fight draft, like I put serious question marks, because I don't think you're ever winning that against T1.
They haven't really had that in the past, and I would have really liked the Morgana, but it is a little bit more difficult to, you know, get around the map and clear wards and things like that, because you are very, very squishy. At least the Maokai is going to be a bit beefier. He will also be able to go on some pretty long rides with the Twisted Advance if Bang's going to be throwing out his rocket jumps left and right. So looking forward to watching the Maokai just chasing through the air after a Tristana many, many times. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Remember Maokai jungle, where you like you got your Mobies and then you would just like zoom in towards people, and then people learned they could flash when you went for your Twisted Advance, and then that kind of stopped being a thing because it was very sad.
Yeah.
Good times. It's really fun to watch back because we've gotten so much better at the game, which makes a lot of sense, you know, like collectively the amount of attention and time that has been poured into this game. You'd hope we'd collectively got better. Otherwise, it would be a bit sad.
Some of the Maokais that I remember would buy like Oracle's Elixir and Mobies, and that's all they'd have.
Yeah, that's old support budgets.
Jungle
budgets. Yep, that's
times.
I mean, that's also when Maokai had an ultimate that allowed him to still be a full-on tank.
That's true, yeah.
Right, he had like the circle around him,
yeah.
Funny circle that just reduced damage, which... Yeah, that was pretty broken, man.
And also when you built full AP, the explosion damage when you turned it off, oh my god, it was so much. It was just the best. I think Maokai is still one of the better Earth champions, as Carrier has taken the Christmas tree skin as well, which I don't mind. I think it's probably one of the better ones. That being said, Maokai is definitely the winner.
I agree.
As Lahans has taken his Wrath of the Lich King skin. As this is the skin that looks very similar to Malphite.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like Malphite cosplay to me, man.
Yeah.
Huh. This is first pick for Victor. Obviously, in this split, I don't think I need to clarify that any further. And something that I always like is that Carrier, or rather that I like here, is that Carrier's gone for the tank build. We have, of course, seen, especially early in the split when it wasn't nerfed yet, the Imperial Mandate with like AP and Comet, which I think is still, like, even though it was nerfed, like that's still a build you can go. However, with the amount of damage you have available with like the free carries, right, I don't think it's a problem whatsoever to go for the tank build. I think it's a lot more consistent. And if you don't find an early lead, you still provide a lot of viability and a lot of tankiness, as opposed to AP Maokai, who then just kind of stands there, throws saplings that don't do anything, and is sad.
Yeah. Or maybe he's happy, I don't know. It's Carrier. He likes throwing saplings. As he's just looking to chill out throughout this laning phase by the looks. Baker's Victor pretty good so far, but he was often the guy playing the Azir in this when it was the Victor that was a thing. As there's a Twisted Advance, still level 1 here for Carrier, so it doesn't really have much more to do after that, as Teddy's going to explode, but it's going to be fine. I do want to throw a shout out to our 80 carries in this particular game, because they were the same 80 carries that were in the 92-minute slugfest between SKT and Jin back in the day.
Wow.
So a bit of a shout out there to Bang and Teddy, who both broke CS records that I don't think will ever be answered.
We have Elder Drake now, so no. That's basically the end of that one. Elder Drake does not allow for those kind of situations anymore.
But that means that record is now immortal.
Well, but here's the thing, right? Like, is that actually the case? Like,
I think so.
Won't we ever get to a different state of League of Legends? This game is always in flux. Maybe we'll get to longer games at some point.
Are we going to get to a point where they have 1200 CS?
No, probably not.
Yeah, see, it's a bit of a roughie, isn't it? This was also Teddy playing Sivir, I believe, in that game, so he was mowing through the minions. But Bang was still on like 1200 on Ezreal, which was a little bit harder to get to.
Listen.
But you have 92 minutes, you're probably going to get that much CS.
Listen, man, you put Chovy in a game that's like 60 minutes, like that's enough. He doesn't need more time. I'm not going to lie, I think he'll do that easy peasy. Just need to get to a 60-minute game, which honestly, also in the current era of League of Legends, is just not a thing. And it is because of the power of these Drakes.
I mean, that's exactly why it was implemented, right? Was to stop games like that from ever happening again.
Well, you know, listen, we're the LCK. If we together, like, if we really band together and really try, I think together we can make it work. We can have another, like...
Oh, I don't know whether I want that, though, because I remember it was Papa and Achilles that played that casted that game. And are they casting the LCK anymore? No, maybe it broke them. Maybe that was why they wanted to leave. You know?
Wow. I mean, that could... You'd know that better than I would.
No, it's entirely
I don't
untrue.
feel like...
I remember meeting up with them after that game, and we were having a laugh.
Understandably.
So it's not like they were too tired to hang out after that one. So I think we would have been pretty happy just to continue going for another 92 minutes. And Seth's actually very good. Achilles, sorry. Very, very good at you know, coming in for the rough times, much like he did in Casper Cup. As Teddy's going to be lit on fire, has to flash the rocket jump here as Bang. Not exhausted anymore. That's a great stun as Teddy in trouble, but the explosive charge is there. And that is first blood going over to Bang. Carrier now in trouble as well as Cuz comes in. Looking to save the day, but it's 100% just a drive by here from the horse.
That's a great early start here. That's who you want fed. Bang, immediately finding a killer on the Tristana. And Dread was there. But Dread was just an insurance policy. This was just a straight up 2v2 win.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why we see this Tristana so much. Like, it just wins against Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa, of course, has received nerfs to her Q. Like, maybe pre-nerf Kai'Sa would have been completely fine in that situation, but you're not winning that early all-in, and we saw the power of the continuous fighting that you can find with the Tristana once you get the reset, when you proc the full bomb. You're just really, really, really strong. And one thing that the Maokai does not provide in the early game is damage. Like later on when you can like get a lot of long rotations in, you'll be somewhat fine, but this early on, your mana costs are prohibitively expensive, and it's just really well played. Now they can set up a little bit of a freeze. Of course, it is Tristana, so actually freezing is
pretty impossible.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. But you can still deny a lot of CS, build your CS lead, and kind of go from there.
It's working out so far. Let's have a look at this one more time as Lehens just goes in. This is classic. Level 3, they were a level behind, but it's still so powerful. Alistar and Tristana have just always been really good at this.
They've done it since 2012, Atlas, as you so rightly pointed out, and you see there as well. It's just that straightforward, right? Like, Teddy gets caught by Alistar, that means you're dead. Use both summoners, but doesn't actually get a lot out of that. Slow push now being set up here by Bang in the bot lane. Might also lead them with Dread's current pathing towards a possible Drake. So as a whole, Afreeca pretty nice in terms of where they are on the map and what they can do. Hopefully they will actually try and capitalize, because as mentioned previously, this needs to happen. Yes, it's good, but Afreeca have done well in early games before, but this is the type of plays you need for the 1%, Atlas. We're going to keep mentioning it because it's too good, right? Like, if they do make it.
Oh yeah, and I think that actually winning 2-0 is almost necessary for Afreeca at the same time, because they need as many points as they can possibly find. As Fly goes over, grabs himself a blue buff. We're still going to have to be looking out for Fly, see whether his first Destiny is going to work, because of course when you're about to get outscaled, it puts even more pressure on a pick like Twisted Fate to get around this map and really blow open the game. In the early stages, Wildcard's flying out here. This is of course one of Fly's historic picks, as Chaos Storm comes down to the mid lane, and Fly's just going to vacate. Yep, that gold card not quite as scary when you compare it to a Chaos Storm.
Unfortunately not. Faker has gone for the early Merc threat, so also the stun power is a little bit less threatening.
Yep.
And if Dread is there, or if Lance finds a combo and ignites him, like then you're completely fine. But otherwise, like the consistent damage from Twisted Fate in of itself is not really enough to match the Victor. I think Victor's always going to out DPS you. You're more looking to like just find shove and roam, right? Set up for the rest of your team, provide that side lane pressure, force the enemy to play close to the turrets. And at the very least, you know, the rotation comes through. I kind of wonder whether or not everyone had to rotate there, because I feel like Carrier and Teddy possibly can get a little bit of a punish going in, or at the very least shove in the wave, and it looks like T1 is not even remotely interested in contesting this. Yeah,
I actually kind of like it from Afreeca though. They move over, Bang pushes out one wave in the mid lane, but that is going to mean that they have that man advantage. And Afreeca knew that there were two on the bottom side of the map, and so it was guaranteed that this Rift Herald was just going to be picked up by Dread. But like you were saying, T1, no real intention of stopping that, as the Drake's still alive as well, been alive for a while. This game might be a little bit of delay on the Dragons this game. There's Lehens, sweeps out this ward, and him and Bang will continue to surge ahead here in this lane.
Kanna's hinting towards an AP top Gragas, which I think is pretty interesting. I don't feel like you necessarily need the damage with the composition that you have.
Yeah.
It will provide you with a lot more burst, and it means that Fly basically can't play the game, which I guess is good, right? Like even more so than just the Hacker-Im. Like if there's also an AP Gragas that blows you up with a cask, then it's way worse. But in terms of consistency of your team comp, and if you fall behind, it's a big risk taking it by T1.
Well, Dread's coming up for the set play. Just going to hope to try and get a bit of a kill here onto Canna, as there's the Destiny Fly immediately all the way under the turret, but that's a red card. Maybe not exactly what you want, but still Canna is going to be dead, and Keen grabs that kill. It is now 2-0 in favor of Afreeca, and they have a Herald in hand to get Keen even further ahead.
Oh, Faker.
Oh, no. Faker going to be caught in transition. There's the headbutt pole. Good night, my friend. Bang says, hello. Remember me? And then picks up the kill. They will be able to come over here and try and stop this Drake as well, potentially. As Teddy's going to rotate up, and it looks like Afreeca decide that that's not what they want. They've got a fair bit of action happening here towards the top side, and they don't want to risk it.
I wonder whether or not they can actually get the first turret blood. I'm not entirely sure. I think that they might have the time. There's no teleports available if King just starts hammering away at the turret. So, listen, Afreeca, you're getting the lead. Like one Ocean Drake does not compare to what we see here. Bang is getting fed. T1 is giving up turrets. It won't be first turret blood though, so that's a really big win for T1 if they can keep that one alive. Never mind, the Minions actually got it in the end. I thought Hana would be on time, but as a whole, Afreeca Freecs, that's a Freak Gold League. That's the type, that's the territory we need to be in, Atlas.
Yeah, this is the 40% win rate territory of leads heading towards 15 minutes for Afreeca, but this is certainly looking like they've got their ducks in a row.
Now you've made it sound worse. Like, I'm very excited. When you say 40%, I don't get excited.
Yeah.
And,
I'm trying to temper the expectations. You know, that's my plan. As Dread gets delivered closer to Canna, that allows Afreeca to pretty comfortably take this one away. As Faker just trying to get some extra vision, but Bang and Lehens in perfect position.
And he knew, right? Like the moment he walked up there, you already saw him starting to walk back, and he was like, no, that was a mistake.
Well, speaking of which, Faker down to about 100 here as Fly underneath the turret. Gets a bit of a wild card there onto Carrier, but Carrier's going to be safe for now. As Bang, Rocket jumps forward. Teddy in a bit of trouble here. Bang still has the heal available. Teddy in the same position. There's the buster shot. One more auto and the rocket jump. Oh no! The flash out and the flash follow from Bang. Teleport to come in here from Faker, who wants to get his revenge. But now, oh, the sapling! Will it land on the Bang? It will be enough there, as he also had the ulti. Fly is getting chased down by Faker, but Faker's getting chased down by Lehens and Dread. The cow and the bear slash tiger slash all sorts of different animals going to be able to take him down. Now Carrier and Cows, nothing that they can do. Afreeca, 5 kills to 1.
It's been a day of PvE kills rather, Atlas, because first we had the chicken, now we have the sapling. And what we're seeing here is just nothing short of disrespect coming out from T1 and just incredibly well portioned aggression coming out from Afreeca across the whole of the map. Like, you cannot try to 1v1 the Tristana. That is literally what the champion does, right? Like, this is why you...
Even when you're not mega fed like Bang is, right?
And they already had 2 kills, right? So just a straight up disrespect. And then also trying to play so far forward with a level deficit when the rest of your team is getting pushed out of mid and being this far forward. I'm just baffled. Like, this is not something you can get away with as T1. And I'm really glad that Afreeca are punishing them here because it is very justified. Also, Faker just kind of getting desperate for this kill because I feel like the moment you spot that Alistair and you know you're playing against a TF, like Faker just kind of flashes forward, like presumably looking for, the sapling MVP there, presumably looking for like a play on maybe like a final laser, but like getting that greedy for a kill and disregarding your environment is not something that we're used to seeing from T1.
Yeah.
And Afreeca's making great use of it. Now, I still want to kind of hold your expectations because Afreeca, we've seen them be in a similar position before. They do have a historical difficulty with actually closing out games like this. And the composition from T1 will reach a point of late game inevitability. This game is not yet over, but Afreeca is answering the first question, which is win early game.
Yeah, well, there's the chem tank in. Gold card going to be there, but Fly just blows up. Does go golden, and that is going to mean that Faker dies, and Fly should be all right. Oh, the post-mortem Chaos Storm, almost. Posthumous, sorry. Able to do a fair bit of damage there to Fly, but he's going to be absolutely fine. Faker not so lucky. 0-3-0 now on the Victor. Not having the greatest of times as Kerry has found Dread, but maybe Afreeca have found T1 as T1 do back away. And Keen here in the mid lane wanted to try and break down this turret as Canna just by himself on the top side of the map, just doing his best to get into a winning position. But this is rough for T1, but I like that you bring up the fact that Afreeca haven't been able to transition leads like this so far in this season. So we're going to have to see more as Hex flashes over. Decides they don't want to go for anything too aggressive.
Because the one thing that's key to take away is that Afreeca, when they're setting up the plays, like they have so much lockdown, right? Like you see, the problem that someone like Faker has in this game is he's in the mobile carry against Udyr, Aatrox, Twisted Fate, a Tristana that jumps on top of him, and Alistar, right? Like that's a nightmare scenario. Obviously, him getting caught in the river is still just a straight up mistake, and kind of ties into the bigger picture of T1 not really respecting Afreeca. But the flip side of that is that if Faker gets to his 2-3 item power spike, the Afreeca composition, they also need to go in, right?
Yeah.
Like they're short range, they need to go in to actually make it work later on, and that's where I feel like the possibility for T1 to flip this game around is still there, and that's why I'm like, this is looking really good. Afreeca are going to get the Drake. There is a relevant Drake coming because Atlas has been very friendly to us today.
I've been lenient today, haven't I?
You have been. I think we all collectively really appreciate it. Everyone at home's like, yeah, thank you, Atlas, you know?
Hopefully that means that we get an Infernal, because that's the most fun.
I'd agree. Although I feel like if you're a Afreeca and you get a Mountain Drake, you're very, very happy because it makes it so much harder for the consistent damage from T1 to actually shine through, and it does mitigate a lot of the burst from
Well, that's what we're going to get. So,
okay.
Glad you said that, because that means that I feel less bad about it not being an Infernal.
I mean, fire is fun. I get it.
Yeah.
That's basically what it boils down to, right?
That's why
big numbers are fun
every game. Yeah, precisely. Pang going to be able to take down this outer turret on the bottom side of the map. The Herald was what T1 got for it, so surely might be utilized here. As we're going to have a look at Faker dying in the mid lane. Fly maybe not necessarily needing to flash forward there, but did have the stopwatch to deny Cuz the kill. And the Chaos Storm just not quite enough to lock down Fly.
My point being that, though, if this is a Faker with 2 items, right, like Fly's 100% dead there. And like the itemization on the side of T1 is going to become much more threatening as the game progresses, as opposed to that of Afreeca, who up until 2 items are going to be like the masters of the Rift, right? Like there's no way that they should lose control of the game in that point. And if Afreeca can keep this up, if they can keep control of this game, if they can battle their demons and actually keep control and don't get caught in the side lane, don't overextend into a team fight, don't overextend into a choke point, they are in prime position to take this game number 1. And
Cuz
pivotal.
Cuz hasn't actually really done very much this game so far. As you can see, 0-0-0. So the Hecarim going to be very important if T1 do want to make the comeback. But not deciding to go in just yet. Still has his Ghost available. Let's see whether the horse is going to try and do something here. Instead, he's thinking about going back home. And Afreeca just parked on the top side. Not a lot to really fight for here. A couple of minutes before the Baron is going to be available. And Teddy, you can see he's going home. I do want to shout out to Canna, who died and got ganked, had a few problems in that lane, but is very even when it comes to farm. He's been spending a lot of time sort of away from his team, just trying to catch back up. And is getting close to his Everfrost, which I believe is going to be his mythic of choice.
There we go. We'll be picking that up, and as we already had a great discussion on, Everfrost, pretty OP. So yeah, that's basically all we need to say on that topic. As
I mean, Stridebreaker is too. Both of our top winners with the 2 Buster Mythics.
But on 11.6, Stridebreaker is nerfed and Everfrost is not. So I wonder what that's going to mean for the next patch. Because
that means Everfrost Aatrox. We're just going to have Everfrost versus Everfrost.
Oh my god, I don't want to think about that. No, that's really...
You stun them in your Infernal Chains so that you guarantee the Infernal Chains proc. Know what I'm saying? And you utilize all of that AP scaling that you have, you know?
You're upsetting me right now, Atlas. Like, this is... I'm not loving this.
All right, well, Carrier doesn't look like he is either. He's been thrown around like a bit of a ragdoll. There's Dread coming on around. Hobbs in full effect, just taking down some wards. As Afreeca just not pushing their luck right now. Certainly has slowed down a bit as the game. As Afreeca still with about their 4,000 gold lead. 4.5 was the lead at 15 minutes, so pretty effective. As Cuz is going to smite away his blue buff. No steal available there for Dread. Teddy and Carrier still just manning the mid lane. Top side is where Faker's parked himself. Has his Leandries now, but like you were talking about, 2 items is close to where he wants to be. And bang, getting pretty close towards his next item as well. Gravity Field coming on in here as Dread could be in trouble. The hands has been split off as the Destiny. Fly thinking about taking an opportunity, but with full information, they decide that they do not want to go in. Bang, a little bit too far.
And these are exactly the type of moments you need to avoid. As Afreeca Freecs, right, you have a big gold lead, but you cannot get caught in an unopportune position because your gold lead just immediately vanishes the moment you lose a player, right?
Oh,
so you need to respect
Shirley
that.
just denied by Afreeca. That's very unfortunate for T1.
Honestly, like, there's no plates and I don't think it would have killed it. But it feels so bad, right? Like, imagine being T1 and you're like, okay, guys, we have a moment. Nope, no, you don't get a moment. You get to wait as Afreeca keeps playing the game. And I want to go a little bit in, like, I talked about the break points that we might get, right? Where T1 can take over again from Afreeca. First set of those has been hit. The one item power spikes have come through from T1. The problem is that as a whole, I think Afreeca is going to benefit way more. They're also ahead of the curve, right? And like earlier on, it matters a lot more. So this Drake, you give up. And this is where the early Drake that T1 was able to pick up really comes into play, because if you don't have this early Drake, this game is looking way better for Afreeca, right? Because they would be looking towards Soul Point if they pick this one up. And then all of a sudden, the pressure is on. Now, thanks to this, if T1 play respectful, which does what they've been doing.
Well, in goes Dread. He's going to be able to get that stun onto Faker there, who does manage to get the Chaos Storm down. Bang is going to be taken out. So, 1 for 1 so far. Looks like Afreeca just want to get rid of the turret, and they will do so. As Canna finds the body slam, Infernal Chains pulls him back though as Keen flashes forward, looks for Carrier, but Canna, he goes golden. Another Destiny comes out. As you can see, Fly sees the fact that Cuz is in the area. He's going to back away, so no response there on the top side. As it was a 1-for-1 trade, but this should put Afreeca in a position to take this Drake and head towards that Mountain Soul.
Faker not allowed to play the game, Atlas. He is just continuously getting dove again and again and again. And this is what we're going to start looking at, something like a Bansheesville. Add, you know, like something that allows you to just keep this man alive, because there's just nothing you can do. It's the flank from Dread here that really seals the fate. Really nice data from the hands, very clean. Now, is this good? Sure, it's nice. You pick up the Drake, but you would have picked up the Drake anyway. And what you are doing is you are funneling gold into T1, right? Because even trades for T1 at this point in time you'll take, because they mean that you slow the game down. If you take unfavorable trades, it's very unfortunate. They do get the turret, but again, turret was basically mincemeat anyway. And as T1, your only instinct is just survive. Just hold on. There's no teleport, so that ward that Faker, I don't think has spotted, is not as threatening as it would otherwise be, but you're just holding on. Next Drake, you can still give up. It's completely fine. And the range of T1, especially with like the poke build, or like Kana now going for an AP build, means that he can actually do decent poke. And then you have the Victor.
Yep.
You will actually combine with the saplings with Mandate, be able to kind of get them away from a Baron, right? And then if Afreeca try to engage onto you in the jungle, they're in big trouble.
Oh, Cuz looking for Dread. Dread should be taken down here, but he runs pretty quickly. Not going to be able to run after that though, as Teddy's going to pick up the kill onto the Udyr.
We've seen this one before. This literally happened 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and this is the problem, right? This is what Afreeca fall into. This is the trap. And it's just milling about in the mid game and not actually having a clear plan of how you're going to win the game.
And what I think is that Afreeca, they do have an instinct at what they need to do, which is set up vision on the top side of Baron, right? Like set vision around that jungle and try and make it work from there, right? Try to get the pressure, as Bang is right-clicking real good.
Rapid fire is one hell of an ability.
Oh yeah, it feels very good, you know, as Tristana when you're playing against her, not so much. But what we're seeing here is, like, Afreeca, I think the instincts are correct, but the problem is, and this has been the problem for the whole split, and why I told Afreeca fans not to get overexcited, is the instincts are right, but the execution is not. You cannot just be there alone, even with how tanky you are as Dread. You need the rest of your team ready to immediately follow up. You can face check, as you did, that's fine. Cuz might have been caught.
Yeah, Fly doesn't have another gold card though, and Cuz with his Ghost runs pretty damn quick, but Lehens might be able to catch him. He gets into the brush, but that should be a pulverized. Teleport comes forward, Faker gets here. Canna's going to be there to back him up as well. So Cuz is going to survive, thankfully. Horse very, very fast. And another play from Afreeca that doesn't quite work. Currently it's under 4,000 gold, the lead, and T1 really have stagnated the advantage that Afreeca has put forward. As Faker not going to be able to steal away his blue buff, as Smite does exist. And Carrier, Hex flashing out of the brush. Oh, that's a really nice cask to just pseudo stun Dread into the wall, but the Everfrost just not long enough.
So close. So close. And if you find the Everfrost there, then all of a sudden it goes right. But the key point here is, yet again, Afreeca are not getting anything done. Right? Afreeca are just getting slowed.
Carrier has to flash over the wall. Okay. I believe that was just him charging the Hex Flash, which is why it looked like he just stopped. Spotted that Bang was walking on in there, so it does survive.
Wow. I mean, you're trying something. I don't hate it, but I hope the execution is good here, Atlas.
Yeah, if we're flipping though, it's not exactly what you want because Afreeca, they already had a lead, right? Maybe going for a flippy play like this isn't necessarily what they want. Keen in flanking position. T1 now all grouped up. Cuz has his ulti but doesn't have the Ghost, as here's the Destiny. Keen trying to get in position, looking to get CC'd though, unfortunately, as Teddy takes him down first. Now Dread trying to get out of the fight, does so with the flash. Everyone flashing to try and get on top of Bang, as Faker has a score to settle, and he will be able to take down the Tristana, and this is what we're talking about. Oh no, Afreeca, they may have just thrown it away.
It's the tragedy of Afreeca. Every single time they have leads, but they don't know how to actually work with them. And the T1 comp, yes, it's hard to engage onto them, but then if you go for a Baron play, you need the setup. You need to have vision. You can't just try and haphazardly force it, and that's what they're doing here. And with this gold lead, I think that if you go and try and push your advantage into the jungle and get vision, you can get a way better fight. But instead, like, Fly is forced to flash over the wall just to get into the fight. This exhaust on Bang means that one of the most fat members of Afreeca does basically nothing. And then T1, even though they're flanked from two different directions, somehow get a front-to-back team fight. The execution just isn't there for Afreeca. And now T1, they have Baron. They don't even need to use this Baron.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like, you don't even have to do anything. You can give up this Drake. It literally doesn't matter. All you need to do is hit you 2 item power spikes, and if this shows me something, is that T1 will out-execute Afreeca every single time.
Well, that's exactly what's happened so far. Now that gold lead is all but gone, about 1.4k. Zhonya's is completed for Canna. That 2 item spike that you were talking about is now in for Faker. He also has his stopwatch. The Void Staff going to be very, very important for Faker to actually do legitimate damage, and now it's about getting those defensive items online. I think Zhonya's is very important. He might even go for a Banshee's Veil on top of it, unless he wants to just put together his second mask.
I'm inclined to call this one over, Atlas, and this is so depressing, but like, this is the trend that Afreeca follows every single time, and I swear, Afreeca is like 30% of an amazing team.
Yeah.
Like, they're 30, and then like, it looks so good, right? Like, the catches, the fights, the laning phase, it's all there, but then the moment they need to start moving around the map, the moment they need to start setting up vision, they need to contest objectives, they need to create openings for themselves, it's not there. They just start an objective, try to overforce, and then...
And it's so sad, right? Because this is a team full of veterans, right? You've got Flyer's been playing forever, Bang as well. Keen's been playing for a long time. Lehens also. Like, this guy's got a lot of experience. It's only Dread, I guess, that you could say is relatively new, but he had an entire year last year as well. But still not quite able to get on that same page, figure out how the macro is going to work. And T1 look to have 100% stabilized. It's going to be 3.5 minutes for that Mountain Soul point for Afreeca. Likely that T1 is going to fight for that one, but also likely that they're going to be a lot stronger. Lord Dominic's completed for both of our AD carries. In fact, equalized items.
And this is still winnable. If they can just get on top of that backline, right? If they can blow up Fetty and or Taker. Yeah.
You call him Fetty? That's actually great.
Fetty and Taker.
Yeah.
I actually don't hate Taker.
I mean, it sort of makes some sense, you know?
Yeah.
as Faker's taking back this game, and Teddy's getting fed. It's beautiful. Lahen's going to go down to half health and headbutts Faker, and now he's going to get hit back by a horse. Does have to flash there, as you can see. In comes the Destiny, Cuz relatively low. Keen gets over here as well. Fly not actually going to make the aggressive play as T1 do take down that inner turret, and immediately the Udyr is just executed. Keen tries to find some of these kills, goes gold, and the wildcards are in, but over the wall goes Carrier, trying to be that hero. Frontlining quite nicely as Fly, you are definitely dead. Keen gonna get out there with the Umbral dash, and T1 win themselves another fight.
It's just heartbreaking to see Afreeca because the cohesion isn't there. They're not on the same page. Keen goes in, he sees the opening, he wants to go for the big play, and then Bang needs to respect so much. He's standing pretty far back, he still has the heal available, and it just doesn't feel like they're on the same page, right? Oh no. Cuz I would like, is he gonna find him?
Well, Bang's got rocket jump, he's going to be fine. Spotted for the moment, but as you can see, Cuz is like, yeah, okay, you can get out for now.
That's a little bit far away, and I just want to draw attention again to, we get this teleport, right? That from really, really deep in the flank. So Afreeca Freecs actually do want to make a play here. However, the problem is that yet again, the execution isn't there. It's not timed very well. And by the time Keen joins this fight, he could have literally just like come in from the other end of the jungle, right? And then Dread goes in, gets no backup. And here you see, I gave Bang some flack, but he can't join the fight initially because he is kept there by Carrier and his ultimate, and then Keen goes in, and it's just...
Yeah, it's not exactly it's not the fight where Bang can actually get those autos, but...
Not at all.
I mean, then the question is, like, why are we fighting there at all, right? As the river of Afreeca has now, you know, reached the shore of T1, as you can see in that gold graph. Oh, man. And a need to try and build a bridge here, I think, and T1 have been successful. They've made it to the other side now. Currently 300 gold the lead. The thing that's really tough for Afreeca is their composition was going to be on a time limit anyway. They played the early game about as well as they possibly could. And like you say, just a bit heartbreaking to see what was so much potential. You know, Bang and Lahen's getting fed early. Bang getting his 1v1 kill on Teddy must have been so cathartic. Being able to get that pick onto Faker also very good. They would have been in high spirits. But unfortunately, Spirit not on the team anymore.
And it is just... the team synergy just seemingly isn't there, right? And this is something that's so hard to fix because it's easy to look at. Nice sidestep there from Lahen's.
Yeah, kind of throws his barrel into Narnia. 25 seconds on this Mountain Drake, and T1 have positional advantage and vision advantage.
Yeah. I mean, the cooldown is 40 seconds, so I'm sure he's okay with that. Yeah, that's a lot of ability ace coming in, that with the Cosmic Drive, so that's nice at least.
Indeed.
Okay, flip it, Afreeca. Get that soul.
Well, Lens is going to be denied as Canna tries to throw him back as there's Twisted Advance onto Fly in the back line. The roots are coming forward, and that's going to get so much CC here as Fly completely out of the fight. The cow also eliminated. The T1 health pass is so high as the interruption there from Canna, just beautiful. Teddy, of course, has his killer instinct available, and this is basically a wipe from T1, assuming they can take down Dread. The teleport comes in, and you can see Canna just wants to wipe him off the map. That cask is also going to miss. When we talk about party casks, I think that one's allowed because T1 have just pulled this game out of jaws of defeat. They'll deny this Drake. They'll look for a Baron. And I'm starting to feel like it's over.
That's cause for celebration, okay? You can throw out the party cask. It's 40-second cooldown. No one cares. Dread?
Can he be the hero? I think Canna might be able to body slam him out of the way of this one. As he does so, there's the Everfrost. A lot of CC, but he's still able to walk in and
no way!
Drake. What the heck was that? Oh no! Merktread's completely OP. He's gonna die. And the Baron is going to go to T1. But still, that's Mountain Soul. That's cool stuff. Nice work, Afreeca. If Afreeca win, I'm giving the MVP or the POG over to Dread, 100%.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to need a moment there. I'm going to focus on this first before we dive into that. And here we see, look at Keen. Keen is actually almost able to turn this fight around as the amount of damage he does on Teddy and Faker is actually insane. However,
the CC was too good out of Canada.
Yeah, no,
the Aatrox, unfortunately.
Legitimately, Canna saved because if Teddy also dies there, then that fight might look completely different. This, however, I don't know. Just turn with two people. Just kill him.
It's like,
You have
Kenna's
two-
like,
well-
"I'll CC him, it's gonna be fine." And then Dread's like, "Hook Dread, doopy doopy doo."
You know what the worst part is, Atlas? You know what I'm going to say, right?
Yeah, that probably doesn't mean they have
It
much
doesn't.
more of a chance.
It doesn't even matter.
As, that's second Baron here for T1. 1,700 gold going to be the lead. Okay, Faker might be caught out of position here. No opportunity to go golden just yet. In fact, he's just heading into the death chamber. Teddy's free hitting though. As you can see, Lehens, he's got the ult. He's going to keep him alive. Everfrost just slows Keen as now Cuz is booking it. Finds the onslaught of shadows. They eliminate Keen first. Now Lehens, no ability to go back. Oh my god, Banks' health bar. It just evaporates. And Afreeca, everyone sent to the death chamber. Faker says, yes, you can kill me. But remember, there are 4 other people on my team. And that's not going to be so easy, as now it's a 6,000 gold lead for T1. And maybe it's just heading towards game number 2 with a T1 victory.
A heartbreaking loss here for Afreeca. As you said, they played the early game as well as you could have expected from them. But then, it's not even a caster curse, because like this is the curse of this team. This is the weight that they carry every single time they get those early game leads. They are unable to actually make it stick. They are unable to extend that lead further. And unfortunately,